Eternity's Shadow by E. Thomas Canton. Copyright 2024 E. Thomas Canton. All rights reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic or mechanical, including photocopy, recording, or by any information storage and retrieval system, without written consent from the publisher. Credits. Voices by MURF.com. Sound effects from www.freesoundslibrary.com. And additional sound effects from www.zapsplat.com and pixarbari.com. Music by www.zapsplat.com and IB Audio.
The safest way for the Archbishop to save his earth would have been to kill Adams when he first realized the danger. We know he was not above such acts. Instead, he allowed events to play out, seeming to believe that either his earth could never be destroyed, or that it was God's will. Otherwise, why would he be more concerned with the heretic underground than the end of his world? Or could it be that, despite the office of admissions, he had an underlying respect or admiration for Adams a Wilde? Helen Schaefer. Octavia Wilde, The Definitive Biography Volume 1. Feather-like black tentacles emerged from the dark cloud as it engulfed the prison. But it appeared more like a thick black fog than a cloud. A black so deep your eyes couldn't penetrate it, and so big you couldn't see around it. Whatever entered it disappeared. The cloud behind the moon. This was that same phenomenon. I looked to see that the moon had vanished. It had been a full moon. I had seen it earlier. And now it had disappeared. Not enough time had passed for the moon to set. It had been a cloudless night. And it should have been there. Staring into the heart of that blackness, I knelt down and picked up a stone. Throwing it into the void, I watched it being swallowed whole. That's when I noticed it. The silence. Could that be what the black fog was? Nothing made literal, tangible. While I debated this, the void devoured the earth. I ran the physics of what I saw through my head, but gave up. It would take years to understand it. I knew only one thing for certain. Everything behind the cloud, the world, the moon, the stars no longer existed.
What is it?
Asked the minister. If he felt as scared as I did, he kept it well hidden. It's the end of the world, I said. He looked at me. Okay. Now that I've said that, how do we stop it?
How can we stop it when we don't even know what it is? Do you know what it is?
No idea. What the? Now where was that idiot running to? With growing horror, I watched as a security officer ran toward the darkness. What was he doing? Was he suicidal? I couldn't figure it out until I realized he wasn't running to the darkness. A black limousine, I hadn't noticed before, sat parked in front of the blackness. Out of that limousine stepped the Archbishop. Beautiful. As if things weren't awful enough. The Archbishop waited for the officer as the world died around him. I turned my attention back to the fog. Think. What's capable of doing this? How do I stop it? Who are you? A familiar voice came out of nowhere, causing the minister and I to turn. For a millisecond, I thought I had looked into a mirror before I realized I didn't dress like that. I mean, she dressed like a homeless person, but her hair, eyes, face, everything looked like me. Judging from the manner in which she watched me, I'm willing to bet that she had the same questions about me I had about her. What the? What? How? You took the incoherent babbling right out of my mouth. She said.
Brooke, who is she? Your twin?
Asked the minister. Not possible. Me from another universe. I said. The other Brooke considered this for a moment before responding. Must be. She said, examining me like a specimen under her own private microscope. Over my twin's shoulder, I saw the Archbishop march toward us. The Archbishop. The cloud of darkness. This knew me. So many unconnected elements surrounded me that my mind had trouble focusing. That's when I heard it. A terrified, pitiful scream that killed my soul that night. I tried to convince myself that the scream belonged to someone else. But I knew better. What could I say to Alice? Fen occupied a cell in the office of admissions because of me. I became desperate for the embrace of numbness. I longed to feel nothing. Instead, I became a raw, nerve-ending, hypersensitive to all the thoughtless caprice of life. It left nothing in its wake but an all-encompassing hollowness. I wanted to die. I wanted the darkness to take me. It took all of my will to not run into the black. I needed to refocus. I had to occupy my mind before it dragged me down into a deep depression and darkness. If I ever fell into that pit, I might never return. I scrutinized the minister standing there in front of me. He could have saved Fen. Why didn't he? Why did he allow this? In mid-thought, and with no conscious effort, my eyes refocused behind the minister to the darkness erasing our world from reality. Wait. No. Control yourself. Bigger things were at stake besides me. I have to focus. People are in danger. I need to focus. I took a deep breath to calm myself and regain my composure. Okay. Work the problem. The black finished feasting on the office of admissions. That's when the crowd, yelling and screaming, ran for imagined safety. I turned back to my new sister. This couldn't be a coincidence. Her appearance here when the cloud of darkness is destroying the earth. I know there's a connection. But what is it?
Brooke.
The Archbishop said as he approached us. You did this to me. I spat the words at him.
I had to protect the world from what you knew.
He said.
Trust me, you came out a better person for it.
What did you take from me? What was in my head that scared you so much?
This.
What? I said. The Archbishop saw the second me and took a step back in shock. His astonished look flitted from me to her and back again.
My God.
He said under his breath.
It's all as you said it would be.
He did not know that the darkness had come so close behind him until he disappeared into it without a sound. He didn't appear to suffer. And I hoped and prayed Fen crossed into the blackness with as little pain. I looked at the other me, standing there. She stood there. She stood right beside the Archbishop, and yet she remained there. Within the darkness. No. Can't be. I had no sooner said those words when she smiled at me. We can't do anything here, I said to the minister, not taking my eyes off her. Get back to the platform. The minister looked at me as if I spoke a foreign language. I saw the gendarmes encircling us. Run. We darted like demons through those dark, twisting streets. Behind us were the gendarmes. Behind them, the nothingness devoured everything in its path. Fear kept me running. And I could only hope the minister felt as scared as me, or he wouldn't make it back to the lab. We raced down the shortest route I could think of to get back to that stupid abandoned hospital. We were getting close. I realized. When I saw more and more debris filling the streets. Jumping over the rubble and running around the piles of concrete that cluttered the streets wasted what little time we had. A little farther. I lied to myself to keep going. My lungs were in pain. My heart beat out of rhythm. I panted as hard as I could. But it felt as if I couldn't get enough air into my lungs. Oh? Not now. Please. Not now. We screamed into the hospital lobby so fast we almost fell down a flight of stairs.
The platform doesn't exist anymore. I was here a few hours ago.
He said. Fen had a quantum key. I took the necklace from around my neck.
Quantum key?
He asked as I inserted my key into the lock of 5B. The nexus doesn't exist in normal reality, I said to him. You need the quantum key to unlock it. Otherwise, you open the door and walk into a regular room. The gendarmes stormed down the stairs, aiming their weapons at our heads. But I still had my hand on the key in the lock. All I had to do was to open the door. How long would that take? 3 seconds? 4? Too quick for them to react. I didn't think so. I'd be dead before I got the door open. But what other options were there? Try to reason with them. Could have worked. But any chance to reason with them vanished as the darkness dissolved reality away along with the gendarmes. I had no time to warn them. But holding my tongue gave me the precious few seconds I needed to unlock the lab. Pushing the minister in, we fell face first onto the floor of the glass tunnel. The door to our universe vanished. It left in its place an untouchable, transparent version of itself. Later, we would come to call these ghost doors. Many more of these would appear in the days to come. Once through the aperture, I ran along the bridge to the CCP. I tried to coax whatever information I could out of it. If what I suspected had happened, more than our Earth had disappeared into the black.
It's not there anymore, is it?
Asked the minister, trying to recover his wits. I shook my head, took the picture Fen had given me for my birthday out of my pocket, and stared at it. She was gone. I can't say I remember if the minister and I spoke after that. The entire world had fallen into darkness, but I could only think of Fen. The death of our world felt far too big, far too gigantic, too enormous for me to comprehend. And all that was lost. You can say an entire world had died, but what does that mean? I didn't get it. How could I? How could anyone? Are those concepts you can relate to? I couldn't. To me, they were all words. Nothing more. They had no meaning. The only meaning for me had always been Fen, and now I didn't have her anymore. That's all I could relate to. It was all I could understand. It's all that mattered to me. I dropped the photograph to the floor and screamed at the top of my lungs, tearing at the machine like a vicious animal. I wanted it destroyed, ripped apart, and eviscerated. Fen would still be alive now if I hadn't built the damned thing. If I broke it into a million pieces, then maybe she would come back to me. The minister grabbed me from behind, pulling me away from the CCP as I raged against his hold on me. My anger had become the only thing that still connected me to Fen, and I fought to hold on to it. The photo lay on the platform with Fen's smiling face looking back at me. Without realizing it, I surrendered in my struggle against the minister. In response, he released me. I didn't move. Instead, I watched him pick up the photograph and place it in my pocket. Wiping my face with his handkerchief, we stood there in silence while the seconds felt as if they ticked away into hours and days. It never caught my attention the first time. Strange that it had to happen not twice, but 3 times before I took notice. I looked at the minister. He had already seen it. My eyes followed his to the portal where an aperture opened a mere sliver. I focused on that opening with the sum total of my concentration. It had interfaced with the platform by itself. The minister turned to me. Did it move? The movement must have been slow and slight. The possibility caused my spine to straighten as I stood there. Silence. We waited. And waited. The aperture shot open on its own. The minister looked at me. No, I said. That's not possible. Without taking our eyes off the door, we both turned our whole bodies toward it. Nothing. No one came through. This has got to be Brexus. To use the name that the minister coined earlier in his journal, but how is she doing this? I hesitated. The fact she didn't come to us, to me, showed she wanted us to go to her. That, of course, meant a strong likelihood we would walk into a trap. She's curious about me. I walked toward the door.
Are you sure you want to go there?
I heard the minister ask. No, I said, as I turned to look back at him. You should stay here.
Yes, I should.
He responded. His footsteps followed me through the glass tunnel. I proceeded with unusual confidence, which meant I didn't know what waited for us through that door. I may have felt a slight tingle as I walked into a new unknown. The tingle may have come from remembering that I hadn't checked the readings on the CCP. I didn't know if this new Earth had the proper atmosphere, or gravity, or anything. I had to trust that, if Brexus had opened the aperture, she would have taken all of that into account. At any rate, I had no time to wonder about my destination because, with that one footstep, I had crossed the threshold.